Salve, anyways, this is RSS 10, I think. I'm pretty sure it's RSS 10. I hope so. But it's, you want to fight me over a video game, and this is the video game, I'm pretty sure, WCW nWo World Tour. It's from 1997. So basically, yeah. You know, you can see it's like an old game. But, alright, so basically I'm over this kid's house, Collins, and I think the other person, we'll call him Craig. So this is like 1997. And you know, like wrestling games are pretty big, you know what I mean? Like, he's a big nWo mark, like he thinks he's Hulk Hogan. But like he thought everyone was a character, and like one person was Scott Hall. So whatever. We're playing this game. And I think we're playing 3-man or 4-man. And him and Craig are like double teaming me. And it's like, you know, you got like a lag in the game, and it's like to make you direction and everything, to get it to like point certain ways, it's like not that easy. So, you know what I mean, it was either 3 or 4-man, and like they're double teaming me and shit like that, and you know, they're cheesing me, and you know, you gotta keep changing the direction, and they're grabbing me and stuff. So, I'm just trying to do my, you know, I'm basically just trying to do the power up, like, you know, you keep hitting the analog stick, because this is the N64, and you do your taunt, and it like powers you up and stuff. So I'm doing that like over and over, because, you know, and then there would be a lag anywhere from 1 to 3 seconds to 3 to 5 seconds. If you play any video games, there's usually a certain thing. So I'm doing my taunt, and apparently there's a thing, like if you hit the analog thing, like they claim it was a cheat, but it's not a cheat, it's how the game's made. If you actually beat the shit out of the person, you use the analog stick, it'll, you know, it won't work. And I think we play with no rope breaks and, you know, no submissions. But, you know, Collins was really cheesy. He'd keep putting you in the submissions, they keep grabbing. So anyways, we're playing the game, and, like, my guy's, like, getting out of the holds, or he's, like, kicking out at, like, 1, or, like, not even a count a lot of times. And, like, you know, he's thinking, like, I'm thinking he's fucking with me, and he's thinking, like, I'm doing something, like I know something. Meanwhile, like, everyone at some point has hit the analog stick to kick out, so it's, like, kind of stupid. So I'm like, alright, whatever. So I think I end up winning, but he's like freaking out because he doesn't like to lose regardless. And he's like all pissed off and shit. And you know what I mean? So like he wants to fight me over the fucking video game all of a sudden. Like, you know what I mean? He's like crazy. I'm using the guy Hayabusa, who in that game is called Hannibal. And you know what I mean? He's pretty tough. You know, he's from FMW Japan. They had like, because of copyright issues, I mean, I'll talk about it now, but like because of copyright issues, they changed the names from the people in FMW and like this other league, Full Martial Arts, Frontier, whatever it's called, but they didn't have Mike Awesome or anything, and the WCW, it really was nobody cool, like nWo, Sting, I mean, those are decent, but everyone else is mostly crap. He's using Hogan, he's doing his like cheesy little things. So anyways, all of a sudden he wants to fight me, and I'm like, dude, you want to fight me over a video game? And we're inside. He's got to be like 200, 250. I'm like 165, even if I'm jack lifting weights, you know what I mean? There's still another guy, and then Craig's like 200 pounds. I mean, Collins, I know I can hit him as hard as I want. I don't have to hold back because he's fat. Like, he's got a lot of padding. I'm not going to break my hand. Normally, you're going to, you know, risk it. You know, Craig's kind of big, but he's got some sharp edges. So I got to worry about where I might hit him. So, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, you want to fight me over a wrestling game? I'm thinking, like, this guy's serious. And I'm like, you know, this can't go good. You know, someone's going to get hurt. It's stupid. So we're inside, and I'm thinking, well, if I fight them inside, they're going to be, like, throwing me into the walls, or even if it's just him and me. I mean, he gets me on the ground, he gets me on the couch, he uses his weight, like he could put, you know what I mean? It's not going to go too well for me. So, you know what I mean? And plus, I have no reason to fight. It's a stupid video game. What the fuck? We're playing some shitty wrestling game. Like, dude, the whole point is to play the wrestling game, to do the fighting then. But he drove me there, so I'm like, fuck, so I guess I'll just go and walk home, whatever. And Craig, I think he was staying there at the time, so, yeah, plus he's renting. I don't want to, like, I'm picturing they're going to be breaking walls, throwing me through walls and shit like that. And so I'm like, alright, you know what, if he really wants to fight, I don't want to get mad either, so I'm like, let me go outside. If he follows me outside, you know what happens, happens. So, but I was thinking if I had to fight them inside, my only chance was I would have had to drop one really quick. So I would have probably tried to punch Craig, and like, maybe I could collapse his trachea if I hit him hard enough, and then it'd just me and Collins. Then I could choke him out using the transmission, because they're about 6 foot, 6'3". They're a bit taller than me, and I was expert at the transmission. But I'm thinking if he goes outside, I know they don't have good cardio, so even if I taunt them, and I start, you know, if they run after me, and I taunt them, and they start running after me, I know, I ran track in '94, I know these people, maybe they could run to the bathroom, but they're not going to be, you know, they're not running track, they're not, you know what I mean, they don't have the cardio. So I figured they'd run after me for a while. I could taunt them. I'd be out in the open and it'd be in the dark. So I'd have the advantage. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, I could all of a sudden just turn around and just beat the living shit out of them. Because plus they'll be separated and they'll be winded. You know, I'm just playing around with them. You know what I mean? So, and you know, I mean, if you're really worried, I guess, you know, I probably had a knife at me back then. I would have probably just stabbed them and left them to die in the streets. It's like, look, these people want to fight me over a video game. I try to leave and they're still pursuing me. I have two people that are like, you know what I mean? So that's why you don't want to fight, because you know if you're going to hurt someone, you know. And he wanted to fight another time over the wrestling game when he was supposed to drop the titles, tag belts, because Rich was never there to defend him, and he flipped out and he threw us out. So you know what I mean? He's mad that I beat him in the wrestling game. He's still mad today. We're like 2021. He'll still be getting mad at it. But yeah, so I was thinking, you know, at least if we're outside and we have to fight outside, if someone's bigger than you and you're fighting them outside, your quickness, your speed, shit like that, maybe you could throw me on top of a car or something like that. But I mean, just if I separate them, I mean, I could taunt them. If he starts running after me, I know from the cupcake story he's not going to chase me, so I don't even have to run at any kind of speed. So his full speed is even close to my half speed. So I could be taunting him, calling him like a fat ass, whatever the fuck would piss him off. Kyle's like, come on, but I mean, if I knew that the thing was supposed to be some sort of cheat thing, wouldn't I be kicking out on like a 2 count? Wouldn't I be kicking out? You know what I mean? I wouldn't be kicking out like... So Collins would put you in a submission hold, so over and over and over again, there's no rope breaks or whatever. And then once you get to a certain point, once he puts you in the submission, then it stays on for like a minute or two, and then you can't really, you know, like your leg will hurt or your arm will hurt. But it just shows how stupid people are. They want to fight over a stupid video game. The game was made like that. I didn't fucking design the game. They made it that if you hit the analog stick, that's how you kick out. That's how you, then after that, he'd want to play where we put the fucking thing and no one could touch it if someone's pinning. It was so stupid. Virtual Pro Wrestling, I think, was better, and WCW versus the World was on PlayStation. That was kind of like, you know, this was kind of like the, you know, N64 version of that. But you know what I mean? If someone wants to fight, you got to try to defuse the situation. If you leave and then maybe it doesn't make you look so cool, but you know what? If the guy follows you outside, you kick their fucking ass or whatever. But you know, it's not like I knew if I could take him or not. It's not like, you know, even if you're confident, you never be confident. So I mean, if I had to fight two guys, it's gonna be tough. They both got me by like, one kid might have me by 100 pounds. Colin's probably like 250. Craig's probably like 200. I'm probably like about 165 at the most back then, somewhere in that 150, 165 range. But you know what I mean? You know, so you should never fight. I know there's an episode of the Boondocks where they have the Xbox killer, and he was killing people over Xbox games. But it's just like funny, because you know, you start plotting your strategy, you don't want to get mad, you don't want to start a fight in there. Because I mean, if he fought me in the house, he's got the size advantage. So you got to think, you got to be realistic with your fighting. Even if you think you could beat the shit out of him, why fight him in a confined space? You take him outside, you're a lot better off outside. Yeah, you got the cement, you got shit like that, you got other factors like that, but you know what? You could take him to the lawn, you could take him to the street, plus he's renting there, so you don't want him like destroying his house. You didn't even know he's in a stupid rage. So I ended up walking home and shit. It was like fucking a decent walk home and shit. And then I'm like walking home thinking that he might come with the car and shit. So I'm like ready, like thinking I might have to fucking fight these people in like the middle of the street, like in the fucking dark and shit. But if they do it then, you know, I think where I live it's a retreat state, so you got to try to like leave. But even if they come after me at that point, even if I stabbed them and killed them both, I'm pretty sure the cops or a court would be like, hey man, you know, he's trying to leave. They want to fight him over a wrestling game. Well, what's he supposed to do? Get beat up for no reason? You mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're ready. They could try to kill me by an accident or on purpose or hurt me severely. But it's just so funny because he still gets mad about it now, and he's still. But I'm thinking, if I knew it was doing something, I'm just taunting, trying to get my energy up. I thought he was doing shit too. It wasn't like I knew anything, and I'd seen people do it. And like then online, I think one of them looked it up, and it was like in the cheat thing. I looked today for the cheat things, and it just says that it'll break submission holds, but if you beat badly enough, it won't work, and you'll still submit. So, yeah, I mean, you want to fight someone over a video game, there's something wrong with you, man. You should never fight somebody over a video game. It's like the stupidest thing. Even if they're cheating or whatever. But I mean, I can see if I did a cheat code or I did a game genie thing, maybe you're upset, but hey man, I didn't design the game. Hitting the analog thing is about as simple a thing as you can think about. It's not like some complex button system, you know what I mean? But anyways, take care, and this is RSS 10. Alright, take care.